further, it was evening, these are the deeds of the wicked. It was morning, of the deeds of the righteous. And one day, God gave them one day. And the Medrash says that means Yom Kippur. What? Erev, the wicked. Day, the righteous, becomes one day in Yom Kippur. I mean, this is what the Medrash sees as symbolizing the idea of this one day. How do they both come together? How can you have Yom Kippur, a conversion of both day and night, which would, in this deeper sense, the wicked with the righteous? So let me explain. When we think about life having meaning, we have to come to a very important stage. In the absence of a creator who willfully brought us into this world, without recognizing God, we are basically random, some mutations, some speck in an almost infinite universe of hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with its own hundreds of billions of stars. Without God, our lives are just like some bare microsecond set against this big eternal cosmos. We're basically terrifying, very, very small. To quote from Voltaire, you know what he's thought of us? He says human beings are insects devouring one another on a little atom of mud. Steve Hawkins said, the human race is just a chemical scum on a moderate-sized planet. Nope. Along comes the new year, the Jewish New Year, and we start again Bereshis, the beginning of Genesis. And right away, the Torah is saying, Bereshis is Judaism's protest against this kind of notion. Guess what, dear friends? We are not a chemical scum. We're not insignificant. We are indeed a dust of the earth, but there's within us the breath of God, the Almighty soul that we have inside of us from God. But now we encounter an opposite problem. Yes, there's a creator. God created each of us to follow a genetic program. We're like a pre-programmed computer. So what type of meaning can our lives have if God made us to be exactly who we are? So let me tell you a story that I shared at our great synagogue. It's called The Suitcase. A man dies, and when he realizes it, he sees God coming closer to him with a suitcase in his hand. God says, all right, son, it's time to go. Surprised, the man responds, now? So soon? I have lots of plans. I'm sorry, it's time to go. Hey, what do you have in the suitcase? The man asks. God answers, your belongings. My belongings? You mean my things, my clothes, my money? God answers, nah, those things were not yours. They belong to the earth. Okay, I know what you have in the bag. It's my memories. God says, take it easy. Those never belong to you. They belong to time. Okay, it's my talents. God says, they were never yours. They belong to the genes bequeathed to you through the generations. Okay, is it my friends? I'm sorry, God says, they were never yours. They belong to your path in life. Is it my wife and children? God answers, they were never yours. They belong to your heart. Is it my body? God says, that was never yours. It belongs to the dust. Is it my heart? Is it my soul? My heart? No, that belongs to me, God says. Full of tears, the man took the suitcase from God and asked, so what's inside this suitcase? What is mine? And God answers, your choices. Your choices, that is what belongs to you. Every choice that you ever made is yours. This, my friend, is the key here. It is the choices that we have that makes our life meaningful. God yearned to have a genuine relationship with us, and that means we must choose it. And if we choose it for us, if God says and programmed us a certain way to choose certain things, there wouldn't be a relationship. It would be a dictatorship. It means that we are pre-programmed to do His will, and it's just a relationship with Himself. Like a dictator who coerces his subjects to follow his rule and live under his spell and authority. You know the dictator who said, I want to be feared as a tyrant, loved as a father, and revered as a god, but I also want them to think I'm funny. Imagine you're feeling lonely, so you program your computer each morning to say, good morning, my dear, I love you. You are so handsome, oi gewalt, oi as I shine, and beautiful. I doubt it will do anything for you emotionally. because the words coming out of your PC have been inserted by you. But when there's another person in your home, he or she is reading, and they see you enter the room and say, "Good morning, I love you. How are you, my dear? Can I make you a cup of coffee?" That's something that does something for us. That moves us. Why? I can't make the cup of coffee myself. I can't ask myself, how am I doing, as I do 20,000 times a day. The answer is because it was a choice. If I would force, the housekeeper or a child or a spouse to say, can I make you a cup of coffee? Besides getting the coffee, it would mean nothing emotionally. But when an autonomous, independent person chooses to pick up their head from their iPhone or the newspaper and look at me and say, what can I do for you? Can I squeeze you some fresh celery juice? It does something very deep. It triggers the strings of our hearts. It is what we call a genuine relationship. I can program a robot to say to me, wow, you lost 20 pounds, you're so handsome. Besides, it would be untrue. It also would not do magic for me, because robots and computers can't say no. My spouse, on the other hand, at every single moment can say no, explicitly or implicitly. My wife or my husband has to choose between remaining fixed on the Facebook or on WhatsApp or lifting up their eyes and choosing to bond with me. That's the idea, my friends. It's the ability to be able to say no, which makes the yes so meaningful, potent, and moving. It means that my existence matters to someone outside of me, someone who is here for me and will support me, and that means the world to me. Which is why in Judaism it speaks so proudly and so openly of the power of freedom and choice that is the most important component in our relationship with the Almighty God. That is the core of Jewish perspective on life. An infinite, perfect, omnipresent, omniscient, all-knowing God chose to enter into a genuine relationship with man, giving us the freedom to choose. Every moment of life is an invitation to choose love, hope, goodness, growth. That is why this choice stands at the core and the vortex of the entire Judaism. It follows that, of course, that when we choose wrongly, in some way it is equally valuable in the eyes of God. Because what that means is that there's really a relationship. God is in a relationship with somebody who can say no. If I can't say no, I can't say yes. For my yes is not really a yes. It is a compelled one, unless I have the ability to say no. And that is why it's important for me to share with you a little story that I came across that relates to a young man who came to see the Rebbe, a teenage boy. He came to see the Lubavitcher Rebbe and expressed anguish that his life was full of struggles and disappointment. And he says, why can't I just live a simple, easy life? So the Rebbe answered, because human beings are not angels. Angels are impeccable and flawless, always on target. Human beings, on the other hand, are fragment and dualistic. We vacillate between extremes and shaken by conflicts. Because of man's multidimensional and dichotomized composition, so we must struggle in order to come to terms with our souls. So the teenager continued to probe the heart of this matter with the Rebbe, and he said, but why did God create us in such a complicated fashion? Wouldn't God have enjoyed us far more if we were just like angels? The Rebbe, of course, a real educator, asked the man if he had a hobby. And the boy said that he loved drawing paintings. The Rebbe then asked him, what is more accurate, a photo or a painting? Of course a photo, the boy said. A photo captures any given scene accurately, something that a painting can never do. Which is worth more? The Rebbe continued to probe. And the young man said, a painting. While a photo will cost you a few dollars, or today's mamish nothing with the iPhones, a painting of identical scene may sometimes sell for millions. So the Rebbe says, why? Doesn't seem fair. The accurate photo should sell for more money. It's because it's accurate. And the teenager explained, because most photographs are inanimate, lifeless items. A photo captures and freezes a person or a scene. A painting, on the other hand, go and speak to Sybil Triggerbuff about this, contains the richness of human imagination, the depth of human emotion, and the aesthetics of human creativity. This is what gives a painting a great value, and we call it art. And the Rebbe smiled and said, this is the answer to your question. Angels are photos, while human beings are pieces of art. Angels are flawless, faultless. Like photos, they are perfect shots of spiritual realities. Like photos, they never make a mistake. It is precisely the fluctuating drama of human existence, the perpetual conflict between our inner light and darkness, and our ability to choose our path at every moment, that turns our life, every moment of it, into a piece of art. Only in the tormented chambers of a human heart can God discover genuine or inspiring artwork. It is the goodness and the idealism that emerges from a human doubt and struggle that bestows upon each and every one of us a dignity and a splendor that the highest of angels can never attain. That's the power of choice. That's why at the beginning of creation, the first day, is all about light and darkness. And they both have a place. Both the ability to say yes and the ability to say no. Ultimately, of course, the Almighty God encouraged us to say light, to do the right things. But then we're saying, there's night and there's day. It becomes one day. That one day, as we mentioned, is Yom Kippur. That's the day when we are shown that even though we may have made wrong choices in life, we have the ability to always to come back and, of course, make up and continue our life with light. I'd like to make two special announcements. Please have in mind, on Wednesday, October the 24th, at the Oceanside Middle School, we're going to be having an historic evening with Anne Frank's stepdaughter. Her name is Eva Schloss. She is Anne Frank's stepsister, and she'll be there in honor of the upcoming 80th anniversary of Kristallnacht. Please go to ChabadofOceanside.com. We're joining the Chabad of Oceanside, 516-764-7385 for information and tickets to join enter the world of Anne Frank as told by her stepsister and childhood friend. This is coming up on Wednesday, October the 24th at 7:30 p.m. at the Oceanside Middle School. So make a note of that. And also, I'm in the mood of announcing events. I'll be looking forward to presenting a special seminar called Cultural Awareness, Jewish Perspective, Course Understanding Jewish Patients, that will be taking place at the NYU Winthrop Hospital on Tuesday, October the 23rd at 4:30 p.m. And you can call us at 516-739-3636 for all the information. The key topics that I'll be discussing, this is for both the medical professionals and anyone who's interested. There's no charge. The seminar is free. All participants receive a certificate of completion. We'll be discussing kosher dietary restrictions, the Sabbath customs, Jewish holidays, birth practices, end-of-life and post-mortem issues. This is your host, Rabbi Pearl. Thank you for joining us today. Zay Gezon, have a great week. You can't believe it. We're here. Have a wonderful week. Take care.